And welcome. Welcome to the No Name Yet podcast. That is the podcast with no name. And welcome to the Halloween special. And on tonight's show is the woman who will cook your children in a stew. Hey!
Never heard that about you.
No, I wouldn't do that. He's making that one up.
So on tonight's ghoulish and frightening show is the man who will cook your children in a stew, DJ.
Bro,
Are we all gonna get the same intro, or can it be a little more personalized, or what?
He won't even cook macaroni. He's gonna cook jowl.
And also on the show tonight is the podcaster of all podcasters, the man who wore his mask just for Derek DeJager, the man who will cook your children in a pot of chikorina, Griddy!
I don't do things like that. Clowns don't.
I think out of all of us, you would do
Clowns
that.
didn't do that.
Clown wouldn't cook children in chikorina.
Oh.
So, Pat, if you were going to cook children in a stew, what kind of stew would you cook them in?
That's sick, Rich.
He's a sick
I
guy.
think I would go for a chili instead of a stew.
A
I think
chili?
that makes it a nice chili.
Okay.
Yeah.
With or without kidney beans?
With, why not?
Okay.
I didn't know you eat beans.
That sounds good. Well,
Did you-
welcome everybody to the No Name Yet podcast Halloween special. I would just like to give a shout out for our last episode, which featured Matt McAuliffe. And if you live in the 20th Congressional District in upstate New York and you have not voted yet, that you can write in Max McAuliffe for Congress, who is running against Paul Tonko and a Republican that nobody knows his name. And if you happen to go look on Twitter, I have changed my Twitter handle. I have scrubbed my Twitter account, and I'm going to keep it just for the show. And the new handle is now No Name Yet Rich Jr. No Name Yet Rich Jr. And shows will begin to be posted on Twitter once again.
Okay.
All right. And what are the two of you doing with your hands?
We're stimming. You got a problem with that?
I don't know.
What?
I'm just
Stimming. You got a problem with that?
Skimming? What's skimming?
Stimming. Look it up. Google it.
Okay.
The
Say it
medical-
again.
Stimming.
How do you spell that?
STIMMING.
Okay. Stimming.
Look it up. It's a medical thing.
Okay. All right. Well, it is Halloween. All the kiddies are running excited through the streets, going door to door and collecting candy. And Pat gets over 100 kids a year.
Over 200 kids.
Over
oh
200
my god.
kids
Where the hell do you
a
live?
year.
They bust them in.
What, they bust them in?
Yeah. I swear there's these large vans and cars parked all over the place, and they come from
Now, you giving out pallets of candy?
no, about pallets, but we buy at least 400 to give them all to, and I'm trying to divide them up because I got to take them to Ellis on Thursday, so I'm trying to make sure I have enough for here and enough for Ellis.
And how much does 200 razor blades cost?
That's old fashioned. That's what people
I don't
used
know.
to
You got wilding out tonight. You cooking kids? You giving them razor blades? You got something you want to say?
I thought the razor blades get put in the apples.
No, people are
Put
putting
them
them
in a Snickers box. You can put them in a Snickers.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can put them in the Snickers, get pins in them.
Put them in there.
Oh God.
I don't know
That's
what's
what we used to scare the heck out of us when we were children.
You know what? I think I'd rather have razor blades in my candy than somebody hand me like raisins or something.
You'd rather have a
Really?
Yeah, honestly, like like if somebody
Chocolate
hands you like a toothbrush on Halloween, like I'd rather have razor blades in my candy than a toothbrush.
Eat around it. Chocolate on it.
So you'd rather have razor blades in your Reese's Pieces peanut butter or your Reese's peanut butter cups than you would to get fruit slices.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless they're peach rings, the candy that will take.
Can you imagine giving out toothbrushes?
Sometimes it's good not to be able to see shit.
Can I imagine it?
So
We-
my aunt's friend came over the other day because she's like, oh, I won't be here for Halloween, whatever. She has a second house somewhere. So she's like, I'll give you the candy I have. Bro, all right. So she had decent stuff. She had like Hershey's bars and like the little bags of Oreos. And then there's like boxes of raisins. I'm like, nobody wants these. What is this?
86.
They're not even like chocolate covered raisins either. Like,
Get him out of here.
You know, when those kind of warnings became really big when I was a kid, there was this little lady down the street. And she always baked brownies for Halloween. And she wanted to keep doing it so badly that she put her name and address on all the baggies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How sweet.
Very sweet.
little did you know that was actually her neighbor's address.
Yeah. Well, I was sent by helicopter down to Westchester to have my stomach pumped.
You had fentanyl in them? Fentanyl brownie?
Yeah, fentanyl. Yep. The little old lady down on Riverside Avenue is the inventor of fentanyl, and nobody knew it.
Yep. What's up with that shirt you got on?
This is the Count Progy t-shirt that we've been advertising.
That's right. You've been advertising it more than me. I think I brought it up one time.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Well, it would be great if somebody from the No Name Yet podcast bought one of these shirts featuring Justin Simbitis as. Da-da-da, no,
Somebody did.
No,
Got
no.
You got one?
You got to order from the No Name Yet podcast.
What's that?
You got to order from the No Name Yet podcast.
Oh, you did? Yes, we did get one order from a fan of the No Name Yet podcast.
How dare you forget?
That's right.
#1 fan.
And I sold a total of 3 shirts, 4
Yeah.
including mine.
Did that?
Yep. A doctor, a retired police officer,
Wow.
and a fan of the show.
That's what.
What? You should have them all come on wearing their shirts.
Come wearing your shirts.
Group
Yeah.
pic.
Wear their shirts, and you can feature them as your guests.
That's group pic.
All right. Well, Pat, do you have a ghost story for us?
Yes. This was many years ago. And I went to what my friend called the Whammy Lady. The Whammy Lady, or known as a psychic. So I walk in, sit down, and she looks in a glass of water as if it's like a crystal ball. And she said to me, "Do you know you have a ghost living in your house?" No, I don't have it. Yeah, you have a ghost living in your house. And she's describing him and this and that. So now my Uncle Charlie comes over every Wednesday night, and I say to him, "The psychic told me I have a ghost living in my house." Uncle Charlie says, "I know. I see him all the time.
Oh,
He walks by us, listens to our conversation, and he just walks by." Well, I'm furious. I am a single mother, and I have a 5-year-old child. And I said, "You let me live in this house with a ghost." "Well, no, he's friendly. Don't worry about it." Well, now we go to bed one night, and it was super, super hot. I remember having the window open. It must have been like 90 some degrees. And that night, my daughter wanted to sleep in bed with me. And we only had one fan, and it was in my room. Well, 3 o'clock in the morning, the blender starts. The blender goes off, jumped a mile. I'm like, oh my God, what is this ghost doing? So I get out of the bed, I go into the kitchen, and I unplug it. So I'm laying there, and I'm trying to go back to sleep, and I'm thinking to myself, if that blender goes on again, I'm going right out that window. So the next morning, quite startled and everything, I get up, and the weird part was, I never unplugged the blender. I unplugged the toaster. So I'm like, how the heck? So to me, it was my validation that yes, I have a ghost in the house, and he's letting me know at 3 o'clock in the morning that he's there. So needless to say, I moved in with my parents. There's no way I'm living in this.
so the blender was plugged in?
It was, I unplugged the toaster. The blender was still plugged in. And yet when I pulled the toaster out, the blender stopped. So I have no idea how that could happen.
That's wild.
So
Wow.
I still, to this day, now it's 45 years ago that happened to me.
You still have the blender?
No, I got rid of that blender. I got rid of it. But she was so matter of fact about it. "Oh yeah, he lives in your house." My uncle said, "Oh yeah, I know. I see him." And my uncle was a believer. And that was probably the most. Oh, and then another thing, again, she was very young, and I was walking out of the house. I remember having her bundled up in her winter like cram suit, because she was just a baby. And I was afraid of ghosts then. So I'm running out of the house to go to my brother's house, and I turned off all the lights. So I locked the door, and all the lights went back on. So my Uncle Charlie said, "Well, yeah, ghosts like to use water and electricity. That's how they let you know they're there." So needless to say, I did not want to go back in the house that night, but every light that I had turned off magically just turned right back on. So that's my ghost stories. How about you guys?
Wow. That was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, lights. So they always say, my Uncle Charlie would say, if you hear water running, if you hear a toilet flushing, if lights go on and you can't explain it, that is a sign that there's energy in your house. So then he told me to take a broom, put it upside down, and put it in the corner of my house, because ghosts don't like upside down brooms, or evil like it. I'm not sure which.
That I've never heard of. That's wild.
So needless to say, I had brooms after that too, all over the house, upside down. Yeah, it scared the heck out of me.
I just think it's amazing that a ghost would share a space with an Italian.
That's true. No, now you can't say that.
Why?
Because of the Maloik. All Italians know how to get rid of the Maloik. So yes, they would go into an Italian house, and they're used to it. And
What's the Maloik?
The Maloik is the evil eye.
Oh, okay. The evil eye.
Yeah, you've heard of them, like.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So most Italian women know how to do the prayer. They know how to, I believe it's a match in olive oil, and you put the bowl of water with the olive oil over the person's head. Then you take 2 matches, make the sign of the cross. You say a special prayer. And this special prayer, from what I just heard, has to be passed down. You can't just open up your Bible and say a prayer. It has to be a special prayer passed down through the generations, which I never heard that before. And then they light it, they say the prayer, and then if the olive oil separates, that means you have the maloik or you don't have the maloik. I can't remember which. And then the evil spirit leaves you and your very bad headache goes away. And
it's only the Italian women that have this power, right?
I think so. I think it's only Italian women who can demaloik you, from what I understand. And again, that was an Uncle Charlie thing. And his sister used to give me the maloik a lot. So he would have to come over and demaloik me.
It sounds like a lot of witchcraft.
Well, that's the scary part. Is this demonic? Is it evil? And how do you get rid of it? So I have holy water in my house. I have crucifixes. I have rosary beads. And people have told me to get sage. I've never done that. But I do have holy water.
Pastor, can holy water expire? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you gotta, like, after like a year, do you have to go get it blessed again? Or?
I don't know, Rich, do you?
I've not seen anything on documented that it has to be re-blessed.
I will.
Oh, okay.
Because now Pat and I have done the ritual together to bless some holy water for work. And it's not just a blessing, it's also an exorcism.
Are you saying that water is evil?
Well, you're asking God to exorcise anything evil or displeasing out of it, so that when you use the holy water, you are using something that is pure good. So when you bless a room, what you're doing is you're sprinkling the absence of all evil around the room.
Mm. Now, should one drink some holy water? Is that recommended?
That is completely up to you. The holy water the water that I've been using comes out of a spring at the Cateri Tekakwitha shrine, and I'm not willing to drink it. It's probably fine, but because it is a natural spring, it probably is excellent water, but you know, who wants, I don't know. I just wouldn't recommend it. What about you, Pat?
Would I drink it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so, especially if the water, well, I don't know. I was going to say if people have dipped their fingers in it to make the sign of the cross.
I'm not talking about drinking out of the basin in the church.
Well, I'm saying any holy water. The holy water I have,
Uh-huh.
somebody did touch it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The water I have came from a few years ago. And
I know that Griddy drinks holy water.
Every morning.
you do not.
Yeah, why do you think I'm so blessed?
I was gonna say, is that what makes you so healthy and
You don't see the shining light around my body right now? Radiate?
Hey, go like this.
See?
So what I would like to thank you so much, Pat, for the ghost story and the what is it, Maloika?
Maloik.
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 And as we were coming on the show, didn't I tell you that she would be full of knowledge and stories?
You did.
You
I
did.
did.
I doubted you.
Like any good Italian woman, that she is tuned into the spirit world.
Why do Italians get mad when you break pasta in half? Why do you guys have an aneurysm when people do that?
I never heard of that.
Oh, I watched a video on TikTok or Instagram where the women break it in half and the guys lose their mind. Pastor, you used to follow that couple where the girl would do like anything. She'd be like, today
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna put a piece of pepper on my pasta. What are you doing? You cannot do that. What are you doing? And she's like,
yeah.
anything she would do. She was like, today I'm gonna turn the doorknob to the right. You cannot do that in Italy. We do it to the left every time. What are you talking about? It's like, yo,
Breaking spaghetti in half to cook it is more disgusting than bestiality.
what? It's in the
But
same.
listen, but what if you don't have that special spaghetti pot? You know, like your pot just ain't big enough. Like,
Now, if you're in an apartment with small pots, you got to do what you got to do. But if you're just breaking it to break it,
It's
the
fun.
spaghetti was made that length for a reason.
Oh,
It's
God.
it's an experience.
I
well,
forgot.
you know what? That they also made spaghetti pots too. So I feel like if you don't have one of those, like the oval ones,
Good
you should
point.
probably be breaking your spaghetti in half.
Italians are so I watched another video. I can't remember what it was like. Some little, it was like today we're gonna like break out this little thing and add it to the pasta in Italy, and they just I never want to go to Italy because they just don't know they don't know what's going on over there. You
You know,
can't.
the chainsaw killer used to break his spaghetti in half.
That's great. He knows what he's doing.
Well, that doesn't change the facts that I'm gonna keep.
With a chainsaw.
Yeah, he broke it in half with a chainsaw.
Have you ever broken your spaghetti in half, Pat?
No,
And
But
what do you think of that?
I don't think it's, well, you know what's harder is lasagna. When you're trying to cook a pot of lasagna and you got those big noodles,
Uh-huh.
that's worse. And you want to crack those in half because they won't fit, but then your lasagna won't look pretty if you did that.
Can't do that.
No, maybe I have cut it in half. What am I saying? Yeah, no, I've cut it in half and thrown it in the pot.
Why?
It's easier.
Easier. It's fun. You get to.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, like what do you want us to do, Rich? You want us to like wait till half of our
You
spaghetti
can't
gets
even roll
moist
it.
enough
Once you cut it in half, you can't even roll it anymore.
Roll it.
Yeah.
What is it, pizza dough? What do you mean roll it?
You roll it around the fork.
You
it.
listen, breaking it in half, there's still enough to spin it around your fork.
and
Come
No,
on.
there is not enough to spin around the fork.
You and Mo are going to Italy by yourselves after all these videos I watched. They lose their minds over anything over there.
Well, they should. That's
You cannot do that.
barbaric.
You cannot do that. It's like other all kind of stuff. There's all kind of faux pas in Italy.
Well, it is the Halloween episode, and we are talking about horrors. Absolute horror.
Breaking your pasta.
Well, let's go on. I would like to invite our listening and watching audience and my friends here on the show to bring you on the Stockade Ghost Tour.
Ooh. I hope there's that.
So is it my turn?
No, I'm going to bring you on the Ghost Tour.
Oh, okay.
So I went on the Stockade Colonial Ghost Tour in the city of Schenectady. And Stockade is the original settlement of Schenectady. And so I ran into a woman I used to work with at a bank, and I'm very happy to see her. Great person. She said, I've been on this tour before. It's pretty good. And we get about halfway through, and she kind of walks over to me and says, well, you know, this guy must be new. He doesn't really know the stories. And she was I mean, I really got to hand it to her. I mean, she was being so kind to our guide because our guide sucked. I mean, he was horrible. I mean, there was no other way to say it. It was horrible. And he was walking around with his notebook. And then, like, on a couple places that we stopped, he kept flipping through his notes and says, I know that there's more information about this stop, but I can't find it. So let's go to the next stop.
How unprofessional.
So I think it was the last two stops that I just said, forget it. We were near my car, and I just walked to my car as they went on up the street.
You getting paid for this?
Yeah, I paid $15.
He getting paid, or is he volunteering or something?
That I think he's a volunteer. I hope he's a volunteer.
Gotta be.
So
Gotta
if you go on a tour through the Schenectady County Historical Association and the guy shows up in a three-cornered hat and a cape, ask for your money back. Because it ain't going to be good. But I did take notes while we were on the tour. And so the tour starts at the Historical Society. And then we walk toward the Mohawk River on Washington. Washington, is it road? I think it's road or Ave, one or the other. And we walk down this alley to One Cucumber Alley. And that this house is right on the river. And in this house are some children. And one of these children was bullied back in the 1700s. And he was bullied so much that I think he climbed a tree to get away from his bullies, and he fell out of the tree and died.
Oh, Lord.
So the tree that he was climbing was a plum tree. Oh, wait a second. He was guarding his plums from. See, I'm just as good as the guide. He was guarding his plums, and he became sick and he died.
Oh, that's sick.
Did he fall out of a tree, or he get sick and die?
He got sick and died.
Oh, I thought he fell out of a tree.
Yeah, I see. I don't even know the stories. I suck as a guy.
Talking shit about this guy.
I think Pastor actually was the guide.
This kid a whole nother death. That was the more interesting one, that he fell out of a tree.
Yeah, he fell out of the tree.
Just kept it down.
And then maybe that's what he was. But you're supposed to be. See, I'm looking at my notes and now I'm getting confused. I should have just stayed with the first story. You would have known the difference. So if you're around One Cucumber Alley, beware of the children ghosts.
We don't really know much about them, but they're there.
But they're there.
We don't know if he got sick or if he fell out of a tree, but
they may not even be kids. They may be adults, but there's something over there. Something there.
So on the way from One Cucumber Alley to the next stop, our guide did tell us about this one area near this one house where you can hear a woman's laugh, but we know nothing else. Like, that was the tour.
Maybe it was just somebody laughing.
Somebody laughing, yeah.
Seinfeld or something in the middle of the night. Oh, it's a ghost.
So then we went to this next house, and it's called the Ferryman's house.
The ferryman.
Yeah, because there used to be a ferry that used to dance from Schenectady to. No, I'm kidding. There was a ferry that would travel the Mohawk from Schenectady to Scotia. And so the ferryman lived on the shore of the Mohawk. And so at one point, this house was elevated because of flooding. And
Yeah, flood is insurance.
yeah. And so when they raised the house, they believe that they dug up some remains of some people that were underneath the house. And now they say that furniture moves through the house, and that a psychic came and was going through the house, and they said that there were children and Native Americans that they could sense. And then one time, one of the owners of the house, daughter, came to visit with her boyfriend, and everybody felt extremely cold. And when the psychic was going through the house, they said that the ghost was threatened by the psychic's presence, and they could see a shadowy figure in the door.
Creepy.
Likely story.
Yeah.
You're not buying it?
I don't think a
that-
ghost is scared of a fake of a psychic.
Yeah.
Have you ever I've had the sensation of freezing. I went to a psychic and she told me my ex-mother-in-law, who has died, obviously, was there. And at the exact same time she was about to tell me that, my whole body just froze. And she said, I know she's here because my entire body is frozen. I'm like, me too. It was the creepiest feeling. You can't describe this coldness come over you.
Mother-in-laws, am I right? Even in death, they just can't get rid of them.
Oh, you've never experienced that cold ever?
I'm cold right now, but I don't think it's because of a ghost.
Sometimes you can pick up the spirits if you get that chill. If you get like the hair on your neck feels like it's standing straight up, that's when you know that there's a spirit close by. And none of you three have ever experienced that.
I don't think
I did.
Thank you, Rich.
Even in my ghost story, I'm gonna tell you, I don't even think my neck hairs.
He gotta go
standing up.
last. I'm telling you right now, he has to go last.
Last?
Yeah, he has the best story. He gotta go last.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm not
All
following
right.
this. I'm not following his story with my whack shit.
I thought you wanted to. I thought you were gonna piggyback.
No, the thing is, if you're not first, you should be last. If you didn't come out of the gate with that, you got to go last. Now I'm not following that. No way.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So the next story takes place on the Mohawk River. In the 1700s, there was this Native American man that was always hunting and fishing and did a lot of trading because the Schenectady settlement was a hot spot for trading. And so the one time the Native man had a very big catch of fish, and he gave it to the town just to eat. And he took no money for it. And he said to some people that Manitou calls me. And people could see his canoe going upstream, and he was sitting with his arms folded. And then, but it was only the people on the Schenectady side of the river. No one on the Scotia side could see him. And then he stopped coming around for a long time, and they eventually found his canoe upstream empty.
Wow.
And sometimes when he would come into the settlement of Schenectady, he wouldn't even say anything to people. He would just come and go.
Like EJ. He grown. He grunted.
Yeah. So he might have been a ghost the whole time.
Right.
So are you ready for the best story on the tour?
Absolutely.
This really is the best story. So there was a woman in 1672, and her name was Alice Vanderveer. And her father was Jean. And Alice and the shopkeeper had a thing for each other. So they were down by the river, and they might have been sitting on a rock or something together, and Alice and the shopkeeper were holding hands. And John came down to the riverside, and he shot the shopkeeper dead, because nobody was going to take his daughter.
What a creep.
Right. Well, the whole town heard the shot. So they started chasing Jean, and he ran out of the town, and the town was out for blood. And they eventually chased him down, and they burned him at the stake.
Nice.
So now on the tour, we went on a couple other stops. The tour guide said that this is not the end of the story. And so we went through some other stops, and then we get to one of the two houses in the stockade that is disputed to be the oldest houses in the stockade neighborhood. And that is where, now eventually out of town, the mob caught up with Jean and dragged him back to Schenectady, where they erected a post and they burned him at the stake near this house. That's one of the oldest houses in Schenectady. And so when they dragged John back, now Alice is still distraught because the love of her life was shot dead by her father, and she was, in terror as her father was burning at the stake. Well, in her hysteria, the people of the town said she killed him too, and they
That's ridiculous.
So they chased her all the way up Union Street, which now would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6, 7 blocks, city blocks. She was running, and they chased her to a part where Union College is now, and it was called Oak Grove. And when they caught up with her, they burned her at the stake.
Oh my God.
All right.
So now it is believed. Now, I don't know how they devised this, but it is believed that at the first full moon after the summer solstice,
Okay.
you can go up to the Oak Grove area and see her where she was burned at the stake.
Okay, they could have.
I thought you were gonna say you can see them both running down the road.
Well,
still.
yeah, that's a part of it too. If you catch it at the right time, you can see her coming from the river to where her father was burned, and then up to where she was burned at the stake.
Oh my God.
So apparently in 1985, a group of Union College students tried to see if they could see Alice on this route. And it is alleged that these students may have had several alcoholic beverages on the way, and they did in fact report seeing Alice up at the college.
Right.
Oh,
Sure.
That's funny.
So there is a couple, there are some other stories, but I think that's enough for tonight, except for two more. One's not really a ghost story. But this the burning at the stake, Alice's story was really creepy. And seeing these places. But when we were standing on the corner of Front Street and Church Street, now like what year was that happened? I'm not sure exactly what year it was, but it was still in the 1600s. Now, the reason why it was called the Stockade neighborhood is there was a stockade that was built to protect the people of the settlement of Schenectady from the French and the Native Americans. The thing about it was that this stockade only had two sides to it. And basically it was it protected them on two sides, and then the third side was the river itself. The thing that they didn't think about was that in the wintertime, the river froze. So they only had a stockade on two sides. And so in the 1600s, in a particular year, the French and the Indians came across the Mohawk, burnt down the settlement of Schenectady, and slaughtered as many people as they could. And so, while somebody was doing some kind of work at the corner of Front and Church, they dug up a mass grave of people that was believed to have been people that were thrown in a mass grave after the massacre of Schenectady.
Yikes.
Good Lord.
And as you can see on the screen, there is the corner of that street, and this blue house, which sits right at that corner, right at that intersection. One of the residents that lived there for 30 years reported that when she went down into the basement, shortly after she moved in to do some laundry, that she was overcome by this feeling of evil. And apparently the story goes that she never did any laundry down in the basement again.
Wouldn't either.
She never had clean clothes again. That's the most horrifying part about this story.
But apparently, somebody else bought the house and reported feeling the same thing down in that basement.
Nice.
My Uncle Charlie was on Front Street, and he was a plumber. And he went into this house on Front Street, and it was like one of those escape doors kind of thing. You go down, and this cellar, he was in there, and the son said, I have to go out, but my 100-year-old mother is alone in the bedroom, and she won't bother you. Just do what you got to do. So he goes down into the basement. Suddenly, the door just collapses. It just closes on him. He's in the basement. It's totally dark. Now, my Uncle Charlie was a big guy, and he's doing everything. He's got all these tools, and he's pushing on that door to try to open it up. Nothing. So about an hour later, he was in that Front Street cellar, and he felt nothing but evil. Cold, evil. He was petrified. The son comes home. He opens up the door, and he goes, well, what's wrong? And he said, your mother must have closed this door on me. He says, my mother's 100 years old. She's not going to do anything. So my uncle said, I will never go back to Front Street again. It's nothing but evil. And he said, how could this 100-year-old lady trap him in the cellar on Front Street? So he always felt that there were bad spirits on Front Street. That's my Uncle Charlie for you.
Pat, that's a great story.
Thank you. And I wonder if it was the same house. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing if it was the same house.
Because now the lady said she would never go do laundry. She could be 100 years old at the time. Maybe my Uncle Charlie went into the house to plumbing and he got stuck in the cellar. Oh my God. I can't believe it's Front Street.
So before we go on with the rest of my tour, I have a message, Pat, for you, from a friend that I met the other day at the Field of Horrors. Oh wow, the clock went off just as I said that.
I thought you were.
No,
Yeah, I thought that was a soundboard.
that's Pat's clock.
That's my top. You're 10
That's the spirits for you.
Yep. All right, this message is for you, Pat.
Okay.
Hey, Pat, I know exactly where in Rotterdam you are, and I'll be coming very, very soon.
Oh no! What did you do, Pat?
That's you, isn't it?
That ain't me.
Yeah.
That is not me.
That
I don't
was
know where you live.
somebody from the Field of Horrors.
Okay. They don't know where I live.
Send them to.
So
Front.
anyway,
We live
going
on-
on with the tour, we stop here at the First Reformed Church of Schenectady, and our tour guide turns and points to the church. This is the First Reformed Church of Schenectady, and said, I don't have a story for the church. I'm just stopping here so I can look at my notes and see them. And that's when
I thought it would have been better if he was like, we just need a little cleanser, brush the evil off of us real quick.
And that's when he
Checking his
pointed
notes.
to the alleged oldest house in Schenectady and told us that's where Jean was burned at the stake. So then, after a couple more stops, we went to the St. George's Episcopal Church graveyard. Now, I was really looking forward to this, because I'll tell you that the St. George's Episcopal Church graveyard is creepy when the sun is out. Like, this has got to be the crescendo, the pinnacle of the climax of the tour. So we all go into the graveyard, and our guide looks at all of us and says, does anybody have a flashlight? And a lady pulled one out of her purse, and he walked to this monument, this very tall monument, and shined the light on the face on the monument. And we're showing the picture now, and I know a lot of people look at this picture and don't see the face, but when we were there, the way that the edges came together, we all agreed that was the nose and blah 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 blah. And he says, do you see the face in the monument? And we all said yes. We're all waiting, and we're at the edge of our proverbial seats, like, whose face is this? When did this face appear on this monument? This story is gonna be good. And let me remind you, he said, does everybody see the face on this monument? And we all said, yes, we see the face. And he said, good, let's go. And he started walking out of the graveyard.
No backstory, all build up for nothing.
What a tour!
for
All
nothing.
show, no substance.
So you left the tour?
Well, I did 2 more stops after that. And I'd like to show you this stop. As you can see that at this house, I don't even remember the story for this house, to be honest with you. And I'm not even going to look at my notes. You see that somebody put up this plastic skeleton on top of their carport. This skeleton and the 2 ankle biter dogs that were barking on the other side of the front door of this house was the most frightening part of the whole tour.
Sounds like it.
So what you're saying is you pretty much got fleeced for $15.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way.
Leasing.
Yep.
I mean,
And
couldn't
then-
you figure out all this information just by a Google search, and you could have did your own? You could have made your own tour.
We could have done our own tour for sure. Later, the next week, my mother and I went to Nightmare on J Street, which I might show you some pictures of. And that same guy, I thought that the 3-cornered hat and the cape were a part of the tour. Apparently, it's not, because he was walking around Nightmare on J Street with the 3-cornered hat and the cape.
His ensemble all the time.
His ensemble. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
So now, EJ, I thank you so much for coming on the show. Mo, the EJ is sitting in for Mo. And so at this time, I would like to play Mo a message from the field of horrors.
Ooh.
Moo, I love people from Ilion because they taste like bourbon chicken.
They do.
So that is the
Mo.
message for Mo.
I'll make sure he gets it.
So, Griddy, can we hear your ghost story?
Yes, I forgot that this even happened till I was on the show. This is the last time I've ever experienced anything truly creepy. And it's not anything that spectacular, but this is, and I have more reason to believe this because it wasn't spectacular. So, everybody knows, if you know, my favorite urban legend is Bloody Mary. Loved it since I was a kid. I remember in the after school program, all the girls used to play it, all the high school girls. You'd come out of the bathroom screaming. And Bloody Mary, there's many different ways you could do it, but some people say you got to spin around, you got to say it 6 times. But basically, go in the bathroom, turn the light off, and you say Bloody Mary about 3 or 6 times, depending on the story. And she'll come out. Sometimes she'll kill you. Sometimes she'll only just show her face. And there's many different theories as to who Bloody Mary is and what she does. But the point is, you say her name in the mirror, and she'll appear. So I never done it, and I was like in my 20s, and I'm like, let's just do Bloody Mary. Like, nobody's home. Like, I know that if anybody was home, they'd be pissed off if I did it. Like, they'd be like, don't do it when I'm here. So I was like, nobody's home. Let me do it. I was like 22. I was like, fuck it. So I got a candle, and I turned the light off, and I think I said Bloody Mary like 6 times in the mirror. Obviously, nothing happened. Everything was fine. But I opened the door to the bathroom, and the dog rushes in the bathroom. And it's very important to note, that dog and I did not hang out much. She never did that before. So when she came in the bathroom like that, I was shocked. She never did that. So I see her come in the bathroom, and she like darts in the bathroom and starts sniffing around. And I'm like, what the hell? So I go, okay, I leave. And I go and I start editing something on my computer. And I turn around and I see my dog right next to the bathroom. She's out of the bathroom now, sitting next to the bathroom now, staring into the bathroom still. And about 5 minutes later goes by, and I turn around, she's still at the bathroom, but now she's laying down in front of the bathroom, still looking at the bathroom. And nothing happened after that, but I knew that dog knew something was going on.
Holy
She used to
crap.
freak out. She used to freak out once in a while, and I would never be home for it. My mom would call me. She'd go, "Oh, Hennessy's freaking out." She's barking at the like she'll bark at the fireplace. And then I remember my mom said she was in the office room one time, and Hennessy started barking at the wall, and my mom felt a cold chill. And I'd never been around for any of that. I only heard about it. So when that happened that day, I was like, "Yo, I don't know what I just did, but I know that I called something up in here." Nothing ever happened after that, but I'll tell you, I have not been that creeped out in a long time. That was spooky, dude.
That is. And your dog sensed it. Isn't that something?
I'm telling you, she never, ever darted in the bathroom. Before that or after that, she never hung out by the bathroom. She'd always hang out wherever my mom is at. Never hung out by the bathroom.
Oh my God.
That was creepy. I was like, I did not want to go to sleep then. I was like, I just fucked up so bad just now. I was like, what? Because people believe, I don't believe in Bloody Mary, obviously. It's just a fun story. But what people do see is that the mirror is a portal to the dead. So I don't believe that you looking in the mirror calling Bloody Mary will call in the spirit of Bloody Mary. But you looking in a mirror calling for something will draw something in to you.
I'm not trying to call you out here, but I know you were scared
you
to do
are.
it because me and a couple other people were pressing you to do it for the longest. Because I remember you called me after you did it, and you were like, "Yo, my dog's like freaking out." And
I don't remember, but I believe you. I don't remember.
so I mean, you don't believe in it, but you was a little shook. You was a little scared to
I'm
do
saying
it.
I obviously was afraid because I'm saying that the mirror is a portal to the spirit world. I'm not afraid that Bloody Mary is gonna come out, but I'm afraid that something else is gonna come out. I don't think that Bloody Mary is real, but there's myriads of spirits that will go, "Oh, you want Bloody Mary? I'll show you something." You know what I mean? Like that's. I don't think that this woman that died 40 years ago is gonna come out and hit me with an axe. Like no, but I think that it could be it could be anything. It could be a
Yeah.
demon. It could be, so that spooked me out, bro. It was wild. That was the last kind of big spooky thing I experienced, like 10 years ago.
Never do that again, huh?
Maybe just not in my own house.
Whoa. What up?
So you all call something to someone else's house.
Yeah.
Pork butt.
What is that?
Pork butt. Pork butt. Pork butt.
What are you doing?
You got a Pat GIF?
Yeah.
What the heck was that?
I don't know what that is.
Pork
I mean-
butt, apparently.
I recorded you at work, remember?
No, I don't remember.
That was you on camera.
That was you.
I have no recollection.
I don't remember.
Wait a minute, you told me to say something. You told me to say purple?
I don't remember what I told you to say. I can't remember what that was for,
I think I do remember.
but it was frightening.
Oh, man.
Let's look at it again.
No. That's a real close up, too.
It is a real close up.
Oh my God, what the heck is that? Oh my God.
Pork butt.
Purple.
Pork butt.
Oh,
Pork butt.
terrible.
Pork
Look
butt.
how bad I look.
Pork butt.
Oh my God. Not doing that again at work.
And there was another clip I took at work, and it's not of Pat. It's of one of the nurses that I work with.
Oh,
And
good.
I thought this would be good for the show.
Oh, good.
How was your day?
Where the heck was that? On a bus?
Yeah, that was on the shuttle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How was your day?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So I have a special message for Griddy.
Uh-oh.
I was wondering if mine was on the way.
Hey, Griddy, I'm coming for you.
Oh Lord, Beetlejuice.
That's
Oh,
the wrong
he
Beetlejuice.
he did better in the second movie. I was not a fan of the first movie.
You didn't let why? Why do you? What you mean the original one?
Yeah, I thought the second one was way better.
Damn.
So that was from the Field of Horrors.
Cool. You
So
did it.
I have a ghost story that I'd like to play for you. This is a ghost story that I conveyed while Griddy and I were on the trip to Salem.
Go.
So we just came back from a day in Salem, and I mean, there's just so much rich history and so many ghosts that we could have told you about. But I just want to, we're also staying in New Hampshire, and we're staying here at the Sands, and there is a ghost story associated with the Sands at Hampton Beach. Is that there was this lady, and her name was Abigail Ajax. And of course, people made fun of her because her last name was the name of the cleanser. And so her and her friends stayed here at Hampton Beach, and they were going to college and everything. And some other boys from another college heard what her last name was, and they just made fun of her mercilessly. And so there's balconies on here at this Sands hotel, and so she was on the second floor, and she threw herself off, and of course she didn't die. She was just kind of languishing for a while. This was in the middle of the night. Everybody had gone down to the beach to drink, and she just languished here in the parking lot until she finally came to her end. And it said that Abigail speaks to people in the sound of the ocean. So when the ocean is, you can hear the waves going, that might be Abigail.
Completely fabricated.
That was such a stretch. Because I died near the water, I am now the water spirit.
Complete malarkey.
I could hear Abigail the whole time we were there.
What was she telling you?
She was
Don't do any
saying,
$15 tours. It's not worth it.
well, I did mention the Nightmare on J Street in Schenectady. It was pretty good. My mom went, and we met a couple people from the church down there, and it was a pretty good time. And I'll just show you some pictures. Here's the clock, the City Hall, the dial in the top of City Hall was red. It was pretty eerie. I mean, I got to give them credit. It looked great. And so here we can see down J Street. It was great. It was all decorated, and you could see the skeleton here coming up out of the brick. There are a lot of people dressed up in Halloween costumes. It was a pretty good time. Here's the close up of the skeleton, and I pretty much thought that the vendors were going to be what they were going to be. There's nothing really that I wanted to purchase. Some of the stores were open. One of the stores I wanted to check out was full of people, so I'll do it another time during the day when there's not as many people. But there was about 50 vendors according to the advertisement. They did have fire performers, and it was just nice to be out on the street at night in October in downtown Schenectady. It was a good time. and there was a lot of creepy people. But what I'd like to bring everybody's attention to um, is this restaurant that I didn't really realize it was there, but here it is. It's called the Electric Grinch, and so they opened up the front of this building. Um, so it's open to the street, and there's a bar, and then in the back of the bar, there's like I guess they call it the kitchen. That's where they do the cooking. And as you can see, Electric Grinch begins with E and G. Schenectady is the city in which General Electric was founded. And as you can see, that the owners of this restaurant took the General Electric symbol, the General Electric sign that is lit every night above General Electric, and they switched the G and the E, and so they're making a play on the General Electric logo, but this is the
Have they gotten sued yet?
Electric Grinch. Well, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So the people from the church that we went with, they brought their dog, and they traveled here from Vermont. That one of the people is ordained clergy with our church, and so they had asked if they could bring the dog on the patio in the back of this restaurant, the Electric Grinch. And so one guy working there was like, "Yeah, don't bring it through the restaurant. Bring it through the alleyway, as you can see there on the left." We went down the alleyway, and then in the back, they had like all this cushioned seating and a couple tables, and they had gas fireplaces to keep warm. And so we brought the menus up on our phones, and we it was about 3 minutes after 8. And so one of the guys from Vermont and I went up to the counter and said, "Well, we want to order some food." And the woman said, "The kitchen's closed." And we're like, "Really?" I'm thinking that the other guy from Vermont had gone through all this trouble to get us seated so we could have dinner. They wanted dinner. They had driven from Vermont to Schenectady, and they wanted dinner. And she says, "No, the kitchen's closed." And so the guy that I was sitting next to uh, says, "Well, we traveled here from Vermont." And she says, "Oh, that's wonderful. That means you can come back and eat here." And so I'm standing there and I'm like, this is BS.
I mean, isn't the Electric Grinch?
The Electric Grinch.
So
They're not going to be open long if that's how they feel.
Yeah.
Name. It's in the name. The
They have
Grinch.
5 things on their menu, and they couldn't just they were saying they were behind on orders or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, you have 5 things on your menu besides some extra sides. You mean you really can't like make a push for these 2 guys that just traveled 3 hours to get to Schenectady and give them a bite to eat?
They came for that place.
What's that?
Came just to try that.
No, no, no.
Oh.
They one of the people were being consecrated a bishop the
Oh.
next week. So they had come down to make arrangements for food and things like that.
Okay. Okay.
Well, clearly they better not arrange with this place. They won't eat.
Well, I mean, look at the front of that place is open, and there's at least like 250 to 400 people outside their door, and they can't keep the kitchen open.
There's too many people. I mean, the money would be good if they can actually get the orders done.
Yeah. So I say this to the Electric Grinch, that after GE sues you for hijacking their logo, you'll be serving burgers at the end of Jack Welch's whip.
They'll probably close down before any lawsuit.
Yeah, I was gonna say they won't make it
I
to
don't think they
see a
gotta worry about
lawsuit.
a suit.
So
Listen, Pastor, the last time I saw a place like a restaurant like that where like they could barely keep up with orders and stuff, it did not last.
yeah.
It was funny though watching them like crash into each other, dropping plates and stuff. It was like a sitcom.
Was it? I mean, it just it's one of those situations where you feel like the circuits are crossed in your head. Okay, did this other guy that works here just make arrangements so these two people could get a bite of dinner and accommodate their dog?
Yeah, no,
And
yeah,
then
like how?
7
All right,
minutes
so
later,
I
they
if I
say
want
the
to eat
kitchen's
here,
closed.
yeah, no, it's weird. It's like yeah, like I want to eat here, but I want my dog to be here too, and they're like, all right, we'll come around back. You
Yeah.
figured at that point he'd be like, "Oh, the kitchen's closed, pal. Like, don't even bother with your dog." I don't know.
So I
Don't
have
worry, man. They'll go back to that place.
I have another ghost story.
Uh-oh.
And this one is also from the trip to Salem. So this has been a great trip. We've traveled to Salem, Massachusetts, and we're staying in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. And tonight we're here at the Texas Roadhouse, somewhere in New Hampshire. And we thought that like all our ghost interactions were going to be only in Salem, but while we were here, we were told about a story about this guy named Joshua Peak. And Joshua Peak was a guy that came to Texas Roadhouse and here at this particular restaurant. And he loved coupons. And so he would come here every week and he would he'd get dinner here at Texas Roadhouse. Well, the one time he brought a coupon and they told him they didn't accept those coupons here at this Texas Roadhouse, and it really turned into a big brawl. And so Joshua ended up hitting his head on the bar and dying here in this
Thank you so much for coming in. Have a great night.
You
See you next
too.
time. I hope your friend feels better.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And so Joshua died here in this restaurant. So it's said that sometimes people, when they take pictures here in this restaurant, that they'll see an orb or they'll see spots on the picture that weren't that really shouldn't be there. But the most significant thing is that people have reported that they'll smother their steak and their salad for the $1.99 extra, but it's believed that the ghost of Josh takes those charges off and saves people $1.99. And as I look at my bill, Josh didn't intervene. Creepy, isn't it?
When you were getting your bill, was that lady apologizing for something, or I thought I heard her say, "Oh, sorry, it wasn't better." Is that what happened? Was it a disappointing meal?
No, it was a good meal.
Oh, because I was gonna say maybe that's why Joshua didn't help you out. You disrespected his favorite place.
No, actually, their menu was better than the Roadhouse in New Hartford.
Yeah. Best Texas Roadhouse I've been to.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I'm gonna do one more ghost story, and then we're gonna turn it over to EJ. So when I was pastoring St.
Yeah.
James, I feel that there was something in that church. And on more than one occasion, when I was in a certain part of the office, all of a sudden, that area would get ice cold. And when it first happened, like I remembered that feeling, you know, of cold indicated a spirit, but I'm like, maybe there's a draft somewhere. But it happened at least 2 more times in the same exact spot. And there was no draft from anywhere. And the one time I kind of felt like there was something there. But one night when I was sleeping on the couch inside the church, I had one of the most horrifying dreams I've ever had in my life. Like a demon was attacking me and it had a pointed tail. And I woke up in complete terror. And that was one of the last times that I slept in the church.
You figured you'd be safe in the church, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, you would think. So, EJ, the moment we've all been waiting for. The best ghost story of the night.
well, listen. I don't claim that. That's what Griddy claims that. I don't claim that.
It is.
But I will say, since I am filling in for Mo, this is a good story because he was there. He doesn't remember it clearly. Whenever he brings it up, it's always different, but he was there. So imagine like a giant field, if you will, right? Now around that big field, there are buildings, like a big rectangle. Like on one end there's a building, on this end there's a building. So me and Mo are leaving the lunchroom because we just had breakfast because we stayed in the dorm. And we're walking up and we were on the right side of this rectangle, right? Like on the right side of the field. And we see somebody walking ahead of us and we're trying to figure out like, who's that? Like that don't look like a student here. You know, I think we know. And we're like, well, maybe it's a staff member. So as you're walking down the path to get to our dorm, you have to turn and walk to the front door. And this person that we saw in front of us did not turn to go to the front door. They walked straight through the wall. So when me and Mo saw that, we cut through the field. We cut diagonally straight to the front door. We get in, and there's a room that we usually chill in, right? Where, you know, like it's just like a TV and like that's where like the extra refrigerator is and stuff. So we just went in there and I'm like, bro, did you see that? And he's like, yeah. And we're sitting there talking about it. And then we get up because we're about to leave to go to school. And as I turn around, on the chair that I was sitting at, like on the back of the chair, I swear to God, was the same coat that I saw that figure wearing that went through the wall. So I don't know what I saw. I don't know if he just went through the wall and took his coat off or what. And I'm not the only one. Like Mo was there. He could vouch for me. He saw it. So it wasn't just me.
We were at, when he told it the second time, he's like, we were at the girls' dorm. And I was like, no,
Well, no, to be fair, we were walking past there. You got to walk past that building to get to ours.
He told me something else the last time.
I know. He's confused. But I don't know what it was. I mean, I don't know anybody that could walk through a wall. So, I mean, it must have been a ghost, right?
His story never, ever, ever, ever changed. He's been telling me the same story for fucking 15 years.
And no, the thing that freaked me out was the coat sitting on the chair, because I'm like, whose fucking coat is this? I ain't never seen nobody wear this coat before. Whose jacket is this?
The guy was wearing a top hat, too.
Yeah, he had a hat. He had imagine like an Abraham Lincoln hat, but smaller, you know?
He tells me that. and I listened to this story like 3 or 4 or 5 times for like 5 years straight. And then one day, I just Googled it. I just Googled, has anybody else seen a guy in a black hat and a black coat? And I shit you not, it sent me down a rabbit hole that I still am going down. Of how
There's plenty of people that have seen the Hat Man, apparently. I'm not the
Really?
only one.
call him the Hat Man. And worldwide, somebody wrote a book about it, a compilation of stories. You go on YouTube, mad stories about it. We played so many Hat Man stories on my show. We played one on this episode on this Halloween special. Toro saw the Hat Man in her crib.
I
And
believe it.
people see him all over the world. Usually they see him at night by their bed. People wake up and they see him in their room, but some people see him in broad daylight. It was the creepiest thing because I didn't know anything about it and for years. And then I just decided, let me look it up. And so many people have seen it. It was creepy.
So what do you think, Pass? Do you think it was good enough? Do you think it was a good story?
Yeah, I think it's a good story. I mean, especially, that people have seen the Hat Man worldwide.
It's not just me. He haunts
That's
everybody.
eerie, man.
Big time.
Yeah.
Look up stories. Look up stories. Tons of them. Awesome stories.
So we wish everybody a very, very happy and ghoulish and creepy Halloween. And Pat, could you just stand up and let people see your Halloween costume?
I'm not sure if I'm deflating though. Remember last year with the bunny rabbit, I deflated?
Yeah. So are you going to wear that at that place of employment?
Yes, absolutely. And
Okay.
Rebecca take a lot of pictures.
Okay.
And I said, you were going to take me and Derek because what is Derek going as?
When's Derek what?
Yeah, what is Derek dressing up as? Do you remember?
I didn't know he was dressing up.
Oh yeah, he's got a costume and everything.
Oh, okay. He was Obi-Wan Kenobi at a Halloween party.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's
He was dressing up as Christian Bale from that movie you watched. What was that movie you watched with him? Leviticus?
No. Exodus.
Yeah, I thought he was dressing up as Christian Bale. Who is it? Christian Bale in that movie?
Yeah, I think he was.
He was dressing up as Exodus.
Yeah.
As Moses.
So Pat is a pumpkin.
Yep, I'm a pumpkin.
And he's a burglar.
Let's take a good look at Griddy's mask. I think Griddy's mask wins the best costume tonight. Sorry, Pat.
Well,
That is good.
I'll tell you, I was scared with the Bloody Mary story.
Really?
That was a good one. You know why? Because the puck knows.
Yeah, she knew, dude. She knew. I tell you, I didn't feel anything. Like I didn't feel any cold. I didn't feel any way off. The only thing that threw me off was her reaction.
Yes.
Not that night, nothing. I never felt anything weird. It was only she was onto it though.
Good dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dogs know.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I don't think I slept that night. I was like, yo, I'm not sleep. I was about to tell Dre to come sleep over. I was like, yo, come sleep. Chill at the house, dude.
That is scary.
So we would like to invite everybody to join us on Tuesday, November 5th. That is Tuesday, November 5th for the very last Guy Fawkes special, and that we will be broadcasting live. We will be broadcasting live on YouTube, and as the election results come in.
Are they actually gonna come in, or are we gonna wait 2 weeks?
Well, we'll see.
Probably 2 months.
Yeah, like are they actually?
You know, I'm gonna change that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna change that. We will be broadcasting live on Rumble.
Wow.
We will be broadcasting live on Rumble, and the reason is our Rumble numbers have surpassed our YouTube numbers.
That is beautiful.
The Rumble people are there, man.
I appreciate the Rumble people very much, and I appreciate the Rumble platform very much. If people are looking for a company that stands by their word and stands for something, Rumble has sacrificed their market in France and maybe Brazil, maybe.
Still got ours. Pretty much
Um,
kept our French connection.
what's that?
Griddy knows best. We don't want to lose our French connection. We
Oh,
got
okay.
sacrifice.
Well, the thing is that the French government said that they had to ban some accounts. Rumble said no, and they said, well, then you can't. Your app is no longer allowed here in France, and Rumble said okay, and they took the financial hit to
I
stand for
respect that.
free speech. So. Yeah, we'll be broadcasting live on Rumble at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.,
You
November
hear that,
5th,
YouTube people?
Guy
Get over there,
Fawkes
YouTube
Day
people.
and Election Day. And we will be here from 9 to 11 watching the results come in.
9 to 11. I'm showing up at 10.
Okay.
What are they gonna do for 2 hours? What are they gonna talk about?
I'll have some bits, and we'll be able to fill it.
What do they do on TV though? I'm asking. Do they pontificate for 2 hours?
Yeah, they just keep talking,
So it's a big circle jerk for 2 hours.
basically.
Oh, okay.
They're probably going to be speculating on if there's going to be another.
Your show will be far more entertaining than whatever they're broadcasting for 2 hours.
Yep, or the myriad of shows that have drinking games.
That's better.
Like every time they say a certain word, everybody's got a drink.
I didn't know they did. They broadcast.
Yeah, they do things like that.
Not that. I didn't.
So kind of like Election Day bingo.
Yes.
Oh my god! Every time they say Russia, take a shot.
Yeah,
Bro, we should do that, bro. We should make up our own bingo
get your
cards.
stomach pumped after that one. Every time they say Russia this year, I wouldn't do that.
I'm gonna take a shot every time I hear them say Trump.
No, you're definitely.
Oh, you're gonna be bombed.
I'll be dead.
How about the word fascist? It's like that's the biggest word.
Oh, that's a good one. She's got it.
Oh boy,
No,
everybody.
I don't drink alcohol, so.
Took this year.
But yeah, every time we hear fascist, we'll drink something. For those that like to drink alcohol, elixir.
Those who like alcohol should skip this
ready.
game.
So good night.
Good night.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.